All right, guys. What are we? 5 weeks away, AJ.
Yeah. Oh,
New,
like 5 weeks away.
New England's future 15. 14 was amazing. We're back out in Springfield again. Hit my guys up here for tickets. What are I mean, this is the podcast season for us starts before these shows because we like to get you guys' name out there. Obviously, you don't need that, but some of these undercard guys do. Um, but man, that, that last fight was incredible. Carlos Gonzalez, everybody. Awesome background. AJ was telling me a little bit about your story actually at the show, and I remembered. Um, and there's another story that goes along with your fight from Springfield. But welcome to the show, man. We appreciate having you on. I know
Appreciate you having.
we're gonna see some fireworks here. I know that for sure. He's the main event.
Yes,
AJ,
sir. The first main event. The first main event. How you feel about that?
Uh, I'm excited about it, but it's really just another fight for me. You know,
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
Does
trying
it
to. I'm
does
not
it
trying to get into the being the main event aspect of it.
okay, so it doesn't give you those jitters or those nerves to want to like show out even more?
Excuse me. What was you? Sorry,
I
I
was
didn't hear.
saying I was saying that it doesn't give you those like jitters or those nerves to make you want to show out even more.
Nah, I wouldn't say jitters. It gets me anxious because there's a lot of haters that are mad right now that I've only been doing this for a little bit of time, and I'm already main eventing a show, and they hating on me, but it's all right. You need stuff like that.
I
Keep
got
pushing.
a I got a surprise for Mr. Main Event. I can't say it, but I got a surprise for Mr. Main Event. Uh, uh, but speaking of, so you said you've been doing this for a little bit of time. Talk
Yes, sir.
about that. Talk about that. Your primary sport was actually baseball.
Yeah,
Go into how you started.
yeah. I was a baseball player. I was pretty good. I was probably, if you ask me, I was probably one of the best, if not the best, shortstop around this area. And I didn't go. I didn't go to a well known school like that. I went to a well known school, but they weren't known for baseball. They were known for like football and basketball and stuff like that. But when I got there, my freshman year, and if I'm not mistaken, my freshman or my sophomore year, we won the it's like the league champs or whatever. I don't know what type of championship we won, but we ended up being the best team in our I don't even know how to say it, but in our
Region?
region, conference, whatever. I'm not sure, but that hasn't happened since like the '90s, and that was in 2012 or something like that. So that's something that I felt good about. And yeah, I was just playing baseball. Then I was trying to go to college for it, but my where I come from, it was you don't get you live in public housing and your mom gets help and stuff like that. So my mom did everything she could for me, but she also had other kids. So I ran into an issue where I needed to pay the community college back like $6,000 or $7,000 in order to obtain a scholarship that was being offered to me. And my mom was trying to get on a payment plan for them and stuff like with them and stuff like that, but they were insisting that the balance was on zero before I could obtain that other scholarship. So that shut my dreams right out the that flushed my dreams right down the drain. And after that, I actually had a pro tryout because I was playing with a team called Springfield Legion, post 21 or something like that, and there were people who played on that team who were well known, I guess you could say. They were D1 players and stuff like that, and I was starting over them, and I'm doing my thing. I was one of the key players on the team, so I forget the guy's name, but some pro scout, he reached out to me, and I had to go to New York to go try out for the Phillies, and I think the Twins were there. and there were a couple pro teams there, you know. And out of like 500 people, they only signed one guy, but out of 500 people, I went to the last round. It was only me and like 13 to 15 others. And you know, one thing I feel good about was they didn't sign a shortstop. I was trying out for shortstop. They didn't sign a shortstop. They signed a pitcher. Out of the whole 500 something people, they only signed one guy, which was a pitcher. So I guess I felt all right about that. But yeah, then
Fire.
that's pretty much it. After that, I just started working, doing my thing, and I started doing my thing, and I walked inside a boxing gym April of 2022 because my pops is well known where I'm from in Springfield, Mass. So I asked my pops like, "Yo, can you find somebody that teaches boxing and stuff like that?" And he found me somebody, and I ended up walking inside the gym April of 2022, and it's just been going ever since. I was 25 at the time, so his suggestion was I should just go pro and not do amateur since that's what I wanted to do. You know, I didn't have the time to box amateur since I was a kid and have my family look out for me and stuff like that while I'm trying to do something. So I just had to go pro and do see where it takes me.
Do you have 0 amateur fights?
Dude,
Yeah.
talk about learning on the job.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
zero amateur fights. Yeah.
He
Wow.
walked into a boxing gym in 2022. That's 2 years ago.
Wow.
And what are you already? 10-0 now?
9-0.
9-0.
Yeah. It'll be
Crazy.
2 years April. I'm not sure the date, but it was early April. It'll be 2 years that I've actually like laced up some boxing gloves for the first time.
That last
That's
fight was
badass.
good. You look
That's like
polished.
Deontay Wilder. Like, where was the scholarship from?
There's a school. I'm not sure if it was MCLA or MCLA. I'm not sure the school, but it was a well-known school. I don't know if it was D1, like low D1 or high D2, but I could have probably got somewhere if I would have been able to go over there. But you know, it is what it is.
So
We're doing this.
now that you started, how was that process? How was that how was that whole learning pains when you first started? Because you walked into a well-known gym, you walked in with a well-known trainer, you know, so when you're learning, it's really iron sharpens iron over there because he's got some other badass fighters himself.
Yes, sir.
How was that learning process?
Well, it still is really, really rough and tough. But you know, I'm not giving up. And when I started, I was getting my ass whooped every day. You know, excuse my language and stuff,
Yeah,
but
you're good.
I was getting my ass whooped every day. Every day. And the one thing I noticed was when I played baseball, I had a cannon for an arm. Like I was across the diamond, I was throwing like 90 miles an hour, and I was like 5'5", 135. So I had a cannon for an arm. So that's one thing I noticed. I was like, oh shit, I could throw this right hand because I just think of it like I'm throwing a fastball, and I noticed that quick. But that's all I had. So when I got to sparring people, you know, they put me against mediocre people at first, and since I had that right hand, it was like it looked like I know what I was doing, but I didn't know what I was doing. Once I started sparring people who actually been doing this their whole life, they was fucking me up for first. I would say like up until the other days. I remember I had sparred one of the guys that was fucking me up a lot. Like every time we sparred, I sparred him not too long ago, and I feel like I got the better of him. And mind you, I'm my biggest critic. So for me to say that, I think I got the better of him. You know what I mean? And that made me feel good. I'm like, okay, I'm not wasting my time doing this. I just gotta keep going, keep edging at it, and see where it takes me. But yeah, it's been real tough, and I know it's gonna get tougher, but I'm ready for it.
Hey, you could teach a lot of things in boxing. One thing you can't teach is heart. And you clearly have that, not just in your fight style, but I mean, some guys get touched up in sparring one time and you never see them come back to the gym again. Or every
Yeah.
time they show up to the gym, they forgot their mouthpiece. So,
Yeah,
it goes to show you that you got the heart for it.
yeah. And another thing that I think is to my advantage, my family, no one in my family's ever boxed. So they don't know nothing about this boxing stuff, you know? So they're not really here with me every day. So I don't have anybody, kind of like,
Distracting you or giving you bad advice.
yeah, telling me like, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. They don't know nothing about what I'm doing. So I feel like I use that to my advantage because a lot of these guys, they have a lot of talent, but they have somebody in their corner who hinders that by telling them, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. And luckily, I don't have that. I only have me and my coach, which he's probably one of the greatest trainers in the world. Although I don't know too many, but you wouldn't be able to tell me different.
Yeah, yeah. So, what could we expect on February 23rd? You gonna show us something different, or you gonna just be you? Give it to us.
I'm every fight I'm looking to elevate my game and show a little different side of me, But this is my first time coming to fight as a main event. So I want it to be destruction and just a ferocious fireworks night, but I want to do it in a calm state to where it's like, whoa, he wasn't even, you know what I mean? He wasn't even trying to go there and it went there. Imagine if he was trying to go there, you know what I mean?
You fighting a real tough Mexican veteran.
Yes, sir.
That kind of style brings phone booth boxing.
Yeah, that's my specialty.
We're gonna add to the Puerto Rican Mexican rivalry.
I was gonna say
Yes,
we
sir.
have why do we have one all the time. I know that the last show the
Yeah,
guy wasn't
yeah,
the Mexican was the guy that was running before the show, right? The guy who
yeah. That was when he fought Irvin Gonzalez.
he should have kept running.
Mm.
That body shot was nasty. What do you think about your progression? Like, what do you think? You're 9-0. You've only been fighting for 2 years. How fast or how slow? Like, where are you trying to take it? Like, what do you have in mind for yourself? When do you envision yourself fighting at a national level and eventually a world championship level?
Well, every boxer, every fighter, his dream is to become a world champion, right? So, I'm not in here to just do this for the ha-has. So my trainer got me on a fast track. So I got no choice but to want to become a world champion. He ain't gonna train no mediocre guy who just doing this to get a little bit of attention or something like that. And I think it's a good fit for me to have this trainer because I don't care about being the toughest or the best or whatever from where I'm from. That don't mean nothing because a couple cities down, no one knows who you are. So what is that? You know what I'm saying? Who are you when it's like that? So my goal is to, at least reach somebody from the whole other side of the world where I didn't even fathom of reaching. And not just because I'm good at boxing or good at fighting. Once they hear my story and what I come from, I just want to touch people like that and just let them know like it's never too late to do what you want to do.
You believe in? We could have another Deontay Wilder story on our hands. That guy laced up gloves at 21 years old, 22 years old, and won a bronze medal.
Yes, sir.
He's still
So
throwing bombs.
we thinking end of 2024, early 2025, mid 2020. When do you see yourself reaching national level?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't really think about that because when I do, I start getting impatient and stuff like that. So right now, I'm focusing on going home because right now I'm at the gym And sometimes I stay here. I'm in the room right now, and I sleep right there. I literally walk out. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show you guys. I sleep right here. I walk out, right, and there's the gym. You know what I mean? So
Talk
sometimes
about
this
living,
is
breathing, eating, boxing.
I guess
yeah.
that's the fast
So
track right there, bro. No commute.
yeah. So what I'm focused on is that time difference. Okay, I got this much hours to rest. I got this much hours to train and stuff like that. And everything else, I just leave it up to my coach and my manager, you know? Because right now, like I said before, once I start thinking about that stuff, I get impatient and I start wanting to do other things, and I don't want to go down that road. You know what I mean?
I respect it. What you got?
Because you have to have a lot of discipline, and you got to be extremely dedicated if you want to do anything in life, really. But to be a fighter is like, I played sports all my life, and I never came across anything as hard as this. You know, it teaches you about yourself. So that's really what I'm focused on. And my time period is like not necessarily when will I get to that national level, but when would I start touching people? You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
really what I fight for.
One thing I will say from personal experience, I watched my dad come up. I watched Edwin Rodriguez come up. I even watched, if you know who Jordan Lucas is, he's from Worcester. You see their come up, and you tend to get love from a village that's not your own before you get love from your own village. Once you make it to that level, you'll see these people are gonna come out the woodworks, like they've always loved you and always supported you.
Yeah, that's
Because now it's cool. Now it's cool to support you.
yeah, yeah, that's pretty profound that you say that because I'm living it right now. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean, my dad wasn't selling things out in Worcester, Massachusetts, and that's why Don King gave him his first WBA World Championship in Berlin, Germany. Part of it was because the champion at the time was a German fighter, but if my dad was a big ticket seller and if he was a huge draw, that would have been held right here in Worcester, Mass, or at least in Boston. But then my dad wins the world championship, and before you know it, the DCU Center is sold out. So now that he's the champion, and now it gives Worcester something to be proud about. Now that's when the support comes, and then ironically, as he was getting older, and the career started winding down, and it wasn't at a world championship level anymore, you would think that a local legend, a former world champion, would still be able to sell out an arena. And he fights at the Lincoln Armory. I think that was his first fight back in Worcester since the DCU Center, and he couldn't even sell out the Lincoln Armory. So it's like Jay-Z said in that Tay song. He said, as soon as all the money goes, all the pigeons take flight.
Sure. Yes, sir.
What you got any hit list? Give me your local hit list if you have one.
I really don't have one. There's not somebody out here who could elevate my game. So I really don't have one. All I know is that I wasn't told no names or anything like that. But I have this fight the 23rd of February. I have a fight in March 23rd. And after that, my coach told me that we're going after an undefeated guy. So anybody who has a no and fights at 126 or 130, they're on my hit list. That would be a lot of names to name right now. We'll be here till next week.
Yeah.
But anybody who has an O, who who want to get it cracking, that they're on my hit list.
Question: Why an O? Because you might have somebody who is 10-0, and yeah, it looks pretty, but you might have somebody who's 15-3, and he's actually accomplished some shit, and he's actually people know who he is.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Not saying that you guys would fight, but Irvin Gonzalez, he's a WBC silver champion. He's fought on the Mike Tyson undercard, the Roy Jones Mike Tyson undercard. He's already fought on TV about 2 or 3 times. He fought Toka Khan Clary. He's fought at Foxwoods. I feel like he would be a better like named person than a random 9 or 10-0
Yeah,
that nobody knows. You know what I'm saying?
yes, sir. I agree with that. But I don't know. Like I said before, I'm not the driver of this ride. You know what
Oh yeah, absolutely,
and
absolutely.
my team and my coach is rooting for. So I guess that's what we're gonna do. But you know, I'm looking to make myself the best that I could be. So whether
So
it's
anybody that got an O is on the hit list. Beware.
according to my team and my coach, yeah, anybody really in my weight class, you know, if they down to get it popping and I can learn from them, I'm down. I'm down myself. But if I can't learn from, if I can't learn anything from you, and I can't gain anything from it, I wouldn't even care if you know what I'm saying. I wouldn't want to fight you. You know what I
It's
mean?
super refreshing to hear because there's so many mismatches that these kids are just building their
Absolutely.
records with pushovers. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say pushovers, but it's refreshing to hear someone that would put their O up against someone else's in this game because
Yes,
you
sir.
don't see it often. But AJ's right too. You know, a good record, 15-3, and 10-0, 9-0, same thing. People want to see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Nobody wants to
I
see.
was talking to a boxing manager the other day, and I gave this example. The names I'm gonna draw a blank on the names. I remember one name, Bauza. Bauza was like 14-0, and the guy that he was fighting was like 19-0. But the 19-0 guy had fought soft his whole 19 fights, and Bauza had fought tough his 14 fights. So it actually, you would think a 19-0 and a 14-0, you would think that this is gonna be a barn burner, like this is about to be a war, and it wasn't. One guy got completely dominated within 3-4 rounds because you could tell one guy was more seasoned than the other.
AJ, you defy that law because some of the guys you pulled out of the hat at the last second, they come in and put on a big show. You know what I mean? That
Yeah, well,
Italian
because I
guy.
mean, I tell guys, like, yeah, okay, your record might be, let's just say 8-50, but I mean, do you see that he went the distance with maybe 6 or 7 10-0 guys, and he went the distance with a 18-0 guy? Like, this goes to show this guy is tough, and he's not being baby. He's just, whether he's taking fights for the money or whether he just doesn't have a good team for training. But you can tell, like when I'm looking at these opponents, I know which guys are gonna, you know, come there for a check and fall down, and I know which guys are gonna actually sit there and try to look good or actually try to win. And you can tell by their record. You know, I use him as an example all the time. But if you look up Avinci Dixon, I think he's like 10-30 right now, fighter from Philadelphia. He's given some prospects hell. He's either beaten them, gotten a draw with them, or just gave them hell. Like he made them earn that win. So this is not a guy that if I got a soft 9-0, 10-0 guy that I want to put up against Avinci Dixon because he hasn't fought nobody like Avinci. You know what I'm saying? So another local guy we have who's like that, Antonio Chavez Fernandez. He's got like 9 wins, 56 losses, but I mean, he's upset Greg Vendetti, who fought for a world championship. He's upset a few guys. He's giving guys hell. So it's not really the records. It's styles make fights, but also how you've been seasoned as you were coming up.
Yeah, that's a big thing I've learned since I've been boxing. Is records don't really mean nothing. You know what I mean? You can have a guy that's fucking 30-0, and you know he been fighting. He hasn't been like to me. I think I forgot who I said this to the other day, but I said sometimes a guy with the 4-20 record is better than the guy that's 14-0.
Yeah. And the difference was a team.
Yeah,
That's the difference.
exactly.
You know, ultimately, if you look at, I'll use a local legend just because he's about to fight on February 8th. If you look at Jermaine Ortiz's first 14 fights, he's fought more undefeated fighters. I have the numbers somewhere in my phone because I did the calculations. he's got more undefeated fighters, and his fighter win-loss record, when added up, was better than Canelo Alvarez's, Terrence Crawford's, Floyd Mayweather's, and there was one other one. But those are big names, as you can see. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't no easy path. That wasn't no. He's seasoned because he fought those guys.
Yes, sir.
Do you got anybody you want to shout out? Any sponsors you want to shout out?
Really, just my team, my managers, and my coach. Definitely, my coach's name is Hector Bermudez. That dude plays every role possible, but I like to look at him like my trainer. He's a life coach, not just for boxing. You know, he looks out for me in many different ways. So I like to shout him out, and his boxing organization, which is called the Universal Academy. You come here, you become a different animal.
Well, you got
And
anything from Mike?
I like to shout out my family and God for, waking me up every day and making me go hard and stuff like that. For my family, my wife, my mom, my pops, the whole nine, you know what I mean?
Awesome. I got one thing before we go. You got me in trouble your last fight.
Why is that?
That dude that you fought, Richard Bonnet, right? Was that the last one?
No, that was the time before. That was like 2 fights before that.
The time
Oh, yeah.
before that. So when you fought him, I made the video, and he did that hair flip thing, and you knocked him out like a minute later, bro. And he hit me up on Instagram and was mad, and I said, he goes, well, that's my thing. He goes, I do the mullet flip or something like that. I was like, maybe you shouldn't do that, bro. You were gone in the next minute. But he was cool
Yeah.
after that. He was emotional, but I was like, dude, I don't know. I'm there to film. Somebody throws a nasty punch, I'm not gonna just not show it because I like the guy. Poor Wilfredo, I felt I had to show his knockout. He was my guy, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
But it was so funny. It was shout to Richard anyway. We talked, we smoothed things out. He's good to go. That guy, he was fighting every show for a while there.
Yeah. I mean, he's also like fucking like 6'4", 130 pounds. Like that's
Yeah,
crazy.
tall and long, yo. Pause.
Lanky, yeah.
Yo,
But
so how was it before we go? How was it with that? Like that's got it's a height difference. Like how was that? Compared to the first time you fought him, to the second time you fought him, you actually looked more comfortable than the first time.
Yeah. I was, but it was actually a little competitive. Not competitive, but it was a little difficult for me at first because I was just trying to get him out of there. Because in the previous fight, I had him out of there, and I don't know if it was a right hand or a left hook, but I hit him with something. And I seen his eyes go back, and he looked at the ref and pointed at what was going on. There was something going on in the crowd, so the ref stopped the fight, and that's when they canceled the whole show because there was a brawl in the crowd and stuff like that. So I'm like, damn, I was like 2 seconds from knocking this guy out. You know what I mean? So then I went in there with that mentality, like, oh, I'm gonna get this guy out of there. Which you should never go in there. You would want that, you would hope that, but you should never go in there looking for it. You just let it come. So the first round, I'm in there just trying to get him out of there. And then when I went back to the corner, my coach wasn't there because one of my stablemates he had a fight in Las Vegas. So my coach was out there. And if I'm not mistaken, it was a title fight. His name is Danielito Zorrilla. He was fighting against Prograis. So he was out there, or not in Las Vegas. He was in Louisiana, or I'm not sure where, but he wasn't here. And when I went back to the corner, the guy that he left there with me, he was telling me like, yo, because I spar his fighter all the time, and we work with each other, and he sees me train. He said, yo, this is not you, man. Relax, like you got to take it easy. It's gonna come. So then the second round, I'm just trying to more so keep the pressure on him, but work my jab more, close the distance little by little without letting him see. And then there was just one point where I hit him with it was supposed to be a right hand to the body, but he went down. Like he thought I was gonna hit him in the head. So when he went down, I kind of hit him right here. And I was like, oh, I got him hurt. So that's when I kind of just swarmed him, and he ended up getting hit with a right or left hook or both or something like that. But that was a fight right there. But it
He
was
claims,
difficult because he's
claims he had a
tall and
busted
long.
eardrum.
Huh?
Yeah,
He,
Carlos
he,
busted his eardrum.
yeah, he claims he had a
Oh yeah,
busted eardrum. That's what happened.
yeah.
He's
He
like,
told
come
me that
on,
because
man.
he came after the fight. He came up to me after the fight and he's giving me my props and stuff like that. So I'm like, yo, good fight. You know what I mean? And then he was like, what? And I'm like, good fight. He's like, what? And I just mouthed it to him like, good fight. You know what I mean? And he was like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't. He's yelling, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I got a popped eardrum. I'm like, my man, you just got out the ring. How you already know all that? But it is what it is. You know, shout out to Rich.
Cause you hit him so hard with an overhand right, he went deaf.
Yeah.
But all right, introduce yourself one last time. Let the fans know who you are.
Yeah, my name is Carlos Gonzalez. I used to be known as the Gladiator, but my team wanted me to become better known as El Gallo, like a rooster, because I kind of fight like one. So yeah, I'm from Springfield, Mass. There's a lot more to my story than what was said today. Hopefully one day people will be in tune. And shout out to you guys for giving me the opportunity to be on here.
Carlos, we
No
appreciate
problem,
it, man.
brother.
You're more than welcome anytime. But I know we're gonna, like I said, I know we're gonna see some fireworks here coming up February 23rd, AIC, your
Absolutely.
hometown. So you should have a crowd there.
Yes, sir. That's what I was just getting to. If you haven't grabbed your ticket, grab it now because it's going like water. You know what I mean? So that's all I want to say.
Sounds
Phenomenal.
good, brother. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah, me
Love
too,
it.
man.
It's coming
6
quick.
weeks. Yeah.
It needs to. It needs to come quick. I need to get this over with. I'm stressed already.
Already.
Yeah, you be
I know what's up. All right, guys. AJ, thank you for
But
coming through again. I'll talk to you. I don't know, tomorrow, next day. We'll have like a few more
Yep.
thoughts going through. Carlos, we'll see you 23rd, brother. Let's go.
I appreciate
maybe sooner. Maybe when we have a press conference date, we'll probably see him sooner.
Yeah,
For
yes,
that.
sir.
I'll be there for that. All right, guys. Thank you for
All right.
tuning in. We'll see you soon.